Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk to you about another very nostalgic scent for me, which is Gaultier to the power of 2, or however you want to read this awkward little name. Now this was a fragrance that was launched in 2005, the same year as Dior Homme. So this was a fragrance I really liked, and unfortunately for Jean-Paul Gaultier, I guess, I liked Dior Homme a lot more. I never purchased this. I never ended up purchasing this Gaultier to the power of 2. And I remember its launch. They had the magnetic bottles, and you were supposed to, well, not supposed to, but it kind of, there was an incentive to buy 2 of them. Because they could, they were magnetic and they would, stick to each other. It's just a very silly gimmick. Why would anybody need 2 bottles? But they were designed, I guess, for couples, which is again silly because it was designed as a unisex. It was marketed as a unisex scent. So again, if you're a couple, you don't need 2 bottles, you just need 1. It doesn't actually matter. However, this is long discontinued, and it's quite a shame because it's, I think today it's considered one of those unicorns that's very overpriced. Everywhere on eBay, you got to have the first formulations, the fragrance bros will tell you, otherwise it's no good. The thing is, I really like this one. I kind of regret not buying it. However, I do have this saying that if I didn't get it then, definitely there's no point in spending eBay money for it now, because if I didn't like it enough then, well, that says a lot. The fragrance itself is beautiful. Oh, it takes me back. It takes me back to 2005, 2006 when I was eyeing it. And we're stepping into the realm, because it's a realm. We're stepping into the realm of fragrances that are very mysterious and very hard to define for me. Which, it could be a Francis Kurkdjian thing, but it really isn't. You'll see why. Because it's not only Francis Kurkdjian, it's about a certain combination of ambers and florals that I find very intriguing, very up my alley, very to my liking. However, it's very difficult for me to grasp, to define, to understand, to pull the ingredients apart. So this was announced a few years ago, actually. Jean-Paul Gaultier announced they were going to bring it back, and they did bring it back. I don't know the whole story. However, I did search for this because I have 2 samples. We'll talk about that in a moment. I have a sample of Gaultier 2 here, sent to me by a friend whom I thank very much, a few years ago actually, and I found this sample again, and it got me interested in Gaultier to the power of 2, the famous unisex scent from the 2000s. And I wondered, so what's going on with the relaunch? And it has been relaunched, however, you cannot find it anywhere. I don't know where it is available. If anybody knows, please let me know, because I would be interested. I would be interested in purchasing that, maybe. I don't know the price point. I know nothing at all. So this fragrance is, as I said, mysterious to me, but it's an orange blossom sweetish amber that's rather simple, rather minimalistic, in Francis Kurkdjian style, and it does remind me, it does remind me quite a lot of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male, but it's not only that. It has certain parts from Classique, from Jean-Paul Gaultier as well. It has certain parts from Fragile. It's a very beautiful scent now that I think about it. I don't know, maybe at the time it was very much easier to get swept off my feet by Dior Homme and not look at Gaultier twice. Is it Gaultier twice the name actually? I don't know. It might be Gaultier twice. Anyway, Gaultier². So again, don't know if I could purchase this anywhere. Very interesting scent. I wouldn't pay eBay money for this. As I said, simple, quite elegant, rather soothing scent. Interesting, and it has that sexy early 2000 vibe. Well, sexy for me because I've lived through those years. I don't know if it might be sexy for you. It might smell a bit overrated, I don't know. What I love about this is the very subtle fruity notes and the fact that the vanilla is not overpowering in this amber. I love myself a very discreet vanilla in a fragrance, and this vanilla is as discreet in Gaultier² as it is in Le Male, which is great. I guess it's Francis Kurkdjian's hand at this, I should say, but it is quite interesting. And when you look at Fragrantica on the notes, it just says amber, vanilla, and musk, which is silly because there's a lot of orange blossom in this, and you can kind of tell because it does remind me quite a bit of Le Male. As I said, it kind of reminds me of the top notes from Fleur de Mal, actually. Well, not the top notes, actually the dry down. Oh, how did I get those things so wrong? The drier stages of Fleur de Mal, the musky stages of Fleur de Mal. Very good. So, because I talked about Gaultier², and because that friend sent me a sample together with Gaultier², today we are also going to speak about Ted Lapidus Altamir. Now this is a fragrance that everybody says it's supposed to smell close or even identical, some say, to Gaultier². And let me just spray this. Which I smelled before, and it's a fragrance that I loved, but to my nose this has nothing, well, not nothing, but you know, almost nothing to do with Gaultier to the power of 2. And in fact, this video today was supposed to be, and it is, about Altamir actually, because I got it, I purchased it. I haven't opened it, and oh my goodness, it's been so long since I purchased this. But I hadn't opened it because I knew I had this decant, and I wanted to open it up with you guys. So Altamir is quite special when it comes to fragrances. I actually ended up liking this, or I think Altamir is a bit more interesting than Gaultier², because there's really not much there to compare, but I will talk about that in a minute. Let me just open this up, because I realized when I spritzed this blotter that I was going to open this, and I had no idea what I was doing. Sorry, didn't plan this out very well. But let's at least see the bottles, see how it sprays. Oh, the bottle is quite nice, isn't it? Huh, I see. This is plastic. Oh, you're not supposed to pull this apart. Oh my God, don't laugh at me. This is the first time I'm holding this. Ted Lapidus, to me, is completely new. This isn't something nostalgic for me. Gaultier to the power of 2 is, because it's a fragrance I've been smelling all my, young adult life. Ted Lapidus, not so much. There was no Ted Lapidus in perfume shops where I am, to the best of my knowledge. So I'm not acquainted to this. However, as soon as I smelled this, I realized this is a very, very powerful nostalgia scent for me. It's a powerful nostalgia kick because it does remind me of other fragrances from that period. And as I said, we are entering a realm of mysterious fragrances in terms of, I don't know, notes, composition, creativity, and everything else. So first and foremost, this reminds me of the very, very beautiful Freudian slip right there. Versace the Dreamer. Versace the Dreamer, which is, the very famous 90s, late 90s fragrance, mid 90s, late 90s. And again, it's that, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but this smells, again, it's an amber. It's a vegetal, almost fougere amber. It's very, very beautiful. It wears very well. Let me just spray this on my hand so everybody's happy, right? By the way, this is very, very cheap. I got this for less than 30 euros. Much less than 30 euros. It was actually 20 or 22 euros. Oh my goodness. And for this cheap of a scent, it's a steal. So again, it's a rather strange for me, although familiar, a woody fougere amber, which isn't saying very much. However, what I do love about this is, again, the neroli, or the orange blossom on top, which is the only thing that you can, I guess, maybe liken. This is why you can liken it to Gaultier². But that's it, because Gaultier² is very, very different. Maybe architecturally they might be the same, albeit Gaultier² isn't a fougere at all, isn't grassy, isn't vegetal, isn't all that woody. But this one is really, really something else. So as I said, it reminds me of that dryness, sour dryness that and the sexiness that Versace Dreamer had. I think it still does, let's get real. It's been reformulated, Versace Dreamer, but it's still a beautiful scent. And also, it reminds me of two other fragrances that I got because of this. So this Gaultier², and then later Ted Lapidus Altamir, started this chain of purchases for me that's hasn't ended. And the next one, which I will talk about, not now, will be Dolce & Gabbana Purom. Again, quite similar in this whole realm, this ballpark, and Laura Biagiotti's Roma, which again we'll talk about soonish. So yeah, it's definitely very, very nostalgic for me, but it's at the same time it's very difficult for me to describe and pull apart. It's very, very sexy. Wouldn't call it necessarily manly. I think it's, although it's a fougere and although it's dry, ambery, grassy, it's sophisticated, that's the word. It's very sophisticated because of that orange blossom, which is very contrasting, and it heightens the whole composition. So it's not very heavy. It's also, they cite here, because Fragrantica is open in front of my eyes, helps me not to forget things. So I'm looking at the notes that they listed, and I see here pineapple leaf, which means nothing to me. But let me tell you, as a contrast to Gaultier to the power of 2, this is only very, very slightly fruity. It's not as fruity as Gaultier to the power of 2 when you smell them side by side. This is a fruit bomb compared to this. And this is much more ambery and much more floral than Altamir. So I don't think they're very similar. There's also, throughout all of these fragrances, the Dreamer, Dolce & Gabbana, Altamir, Roma Uomo, I think there is a medicinal quality, the kind of I think it's a dry, pungent, medicinal thing that I cannot grasp. But to me, that's very interesting and very, very elegant. So it kind of, I will have to learn this fragrance, because I haven't, I've worn it a few times from this decant, but it's not enough for me to learn it. I need a powerful atomizer to, to understand the fragrance, not a decant. But this is very, very promising, and it feels like a very complete fragrance, and it's definitely, it's got that fuzzy feel, very comfortable, very soothing, very relaxing type of scent, which is also something you might say about Gaultier to the power of 2, of course. But again, a very beautiful, beautiful scent, and with a very beautiful name, Altamir. I think the name is supposed to be a masculinized form of the cave of Altamira, I think, where they found the cave paintings, which is, interesting. It's a very beautiful name, Altamir. And a beautiful fragrance that I'm excited to finally open and to finally say that I own. And I will definitely be wearing this. And when I'm filming this is the 16th of December, and it's, it's December, it's winter. I think this will feel right at home in this type of crisp weather. And again, a beautiful thing about this is that it's very dry. The only thing that it balances the dryness is the orange blossom and the floral notes in general. But it's quite dry. And the vanilla, again, the amber is not at all overtly vanillic. So not a gourmand, not a modern scent, not the way we understand gourmands now. But rather, there is a camphorous, yes, it's a camphorous medicinal thing through all of these fragrances that I find to be quite interesting. So, this was my opinions on Ted Lapidus's Altamir and Jean-Paul Gaultier to the power of 2. If you've got any other questions, do let me know in the comments. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.